Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. On average, our sales price are commanding a strong 96% of list price. Call me today and let me get started for you. 256-749-3644.
Hey, welcome in to our matchup preview show. I'm Lizi Arbogast with Central Alabama Voice, and I'm here with Pritchard today. It is the second week of the playoffs, and it's, we're rolling along here.
We are. And, COVID is kind of spiked here recently, and it's a little concerning, but when we started the season, we were wondering if we were even going to have a season, and here we are in the second round of the playoffs. So, it's we've got a lot to be thankful for, and in a few weeks we'll have another Super 7 up in Tuscaloosa. So we're excited about it, and there were some good games in round one, but in round two you start to really see some classic matchups.
Yeah, this is where it gets serious. So we are going to once again go through each classification. We'll start out with 1A. Notasulga is at Sweetwater, and Maplesville is hosting Millry on Friday night in Class 1A.
Yeah, Notasulga. I know a lot of people were hoping to maybe see that Notasulga-Lochapoka matchup. It's not going to happen. Notasulga will take on a powerhouse in Sweetwater. Sweetwater has been a team over the years that through 1A football, you almost had to go through Sweetwater, and it's kind of dropped off for them here recently, but they got a big win over J.F. Shields in round one. So they'll have that matchup with Notasulga. Notasulga defeated Florala in that first round. Florala's a good football team. They had a 7-3 record, and they were able to outscore them there and win a close one 32-30. So that's going to be a good matchup there. Maplesville is also another one of those teams you've seen in the past. 1A football is synonymous with Maplesville, and Maplesville will take on a Millry team. But those are our teams in Central Alabama. Those are two good football games that you'll have in 1A.
Yeah, absolutely. And on to 2A, BB Comer is at Abbeville. Lanett is hosting GW Long, and obviously Lanett is a favorite, I think, going down the stretch here for sure. BB Comer obviously has had a really strong season, and I'm interested to see what they do against a traditionally strong program in Abbeville.
Yeah, BB Comer, it's been a while since they've been in the mention there. They're 10-1. They win by forfeit over St. Luke's. St. Luke's wasn't able to play that game, so they move on via forfeit. But nevertheless, they're in round two against a good team in Abbeville. When you hear GW Long, you think of baseball a lot of times in the state, but GW Long's got a good football program too. They don't just play baseball. They're 9-1. They beat Laverne 17-0 in the first round. So, but Lanett, Coach Story's done a tremendous job. They're the defending champs from last year, and they're a team that is going to be a tough out no matter who draws them. So he's made a name for himself. Coach Story has. His son last year moved on to play at Alabama this coming up year, and he's got another top prospect son on this team. So.
Yeah. So in 3A, Trinity is at Slocomb, Pike County is at Montgomery Academy, and Op is at Montgomery Catholic. I think probably the best of those three is the Pike County Montgomery Academy game. Lots of really athletic kids there. Should be a really fun game, I think, for spectators.
Yeah, you look at 3A, this is a classification that we have highlighted this particular season. There are so many teams in 3A. I just want to take a second and read off some of these records in 3A all the way from top to bottom. You've got a 10-1, a 10-1, 11-0, 10-1, 10-1, 9-2, 9-1, 9-2, 11-0, 10-1. It's just
not real bad.
It's scattered all the way through. Randy and I have talked about this on our other programs this past week. This is really 8 to 10 teams could win 3A. And then the crazy story is outside of our classification, outside of Central Alabama, you've got a couple of teams that moved up in classification that are going to be competing in 3A, and one of them's Fife. And I know they're not in our region, but they've kind of run through 3A like they've been used to running through 2A, and so you got to watch out for that. But for the teams in our area, you look at Trinity, Montgomery Academy, Catholic. I know Aubrey Blackwell really well. He played baseball at Central Alabama Community College. He turned Montgomery Catholic's program around from a team that didn't win very much to now, they seem to win all the time, and they're positioned here against Op. Op's been in the playoffs. They've made deep runs over the last several years as well. Some good football in 3A. It's going to be fun to watch.
I agree with you there. In Class 4A, Jacksonville is at Alabama Christian. American Christian is at Mobile Christian, and Handley is at Montevallo. Another set of pretty strong games across the board, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll start with that Handley team. They ended the season with a very tough Central Clay team that was a classification ahead of them. They lose that game right there at the very end, but Handley's going to be a tough out. They've got a great football coach that has been around for a long time, knows how to get it done. If you look at Jacksonville versus Alabama Christian blew out West Blockton. They're 9-2 on the season. Jacksonville 7-3. Jacksonville won a close game, 27-24 over Jackson. So that's going to be one to watch. But American Christian, Mobile Christian may be the game of the week in 4A because both of these teams, I mean, Mobile Christian's got a top prospect down there that's playing for them. They're 9-1, but they struggle with Cherokee County. They only won 17-14. On the flip side, American Christian put up 65. They're 11-0 on the season. Can Mobile Christian, who's the defending champs there, can they make it back and defend that title? We'll see.
Yeah. Similar to Class 3A, I think 5A is another one where it seems like it's a multitude of people's games. Could be Pike Road is at UMS Wright, Selma is at St. Paul's, Leeds at Russellville, Fairview at Ramsay, Pleasant Grove at Guntersville, and we do have one more Class 5A game that we'll save until the end. But again, a couple of teams there that are really ones to watch.
Guntersville 10-0. Look at Pleasant Grove. They went to the state championship game last year and got knocked off by Central Clay. They're back. Ramsay won a 6A title a few years ago. They're going to be a tough out here. Pike Road just keeps mowing people down, and they lost their quarterback several weeks ago, but it didn't seem to have affected them very much. UMS Wright
looks great.
With Terry Curtis. I mean, you look at what he's been able to do. They've been in 4A their whole it seems like the whole time. They move up to 5A now, and they find themselves right back there. They're 7-4, but don't let the record fool you. They've lost a couple overtime games, a couple one-point games to teams that are higher classification than them. Also, some other teams outside of our region that are going to be really good in this Class 5A. So 3A and 5A. They're the stars on the stage this year, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you. In Class 6A, Hillcrest is at Opelika, Saraland is at Lee, Pinson Valley at Shades Valley, and Mountain Brook at Gardendale. There seems to be some favorites sort of emerging in that Class 6A, unlike the 5A at this point.
No doubt about it. Look, Opelika and Hillcrest will start there. Opelika with a big win over Wetumpka. Hillcrest knocks off McGill-Tulane, which was a big win. Opelika 8-2, Hillcrest 9-2. I think you start there. I mean, I think Opelika has been so close for so many years.
Opelika's gotten so much better over the course of the season. Their first game against Auburn.
Oh, I know.
Not so great, but now
they have improved.
They really have
improved. They seem to have embraced who they are. They have an identity. And they'll continue to be, a program every year that is a solid performer, always puts themselves in this position, but they'll have their hands full. Hillcrest comes to Opelika, but if I had to pick one in that game, I'd probably, choose the Bulldogs at home. Saraland, they were the favorite last year, and they got knocked out early. And so can they come back and fight a good Lee team that spent a lot of the last several years in 7A? Pinson Valley and Shades Valley. Shades Valley's got a losing record, but Pinson Valley, with a new coach, Kool-Aid McKinstry over there, they're used to winning state championships, but they had Bo Nix when they were doing all of that. It's a new day up there. Can they fight their way back? Shades Valley's playing really good football, even though they have a losing record. And then Mountain Brook's been a 7A team, and then Gardendale, the Rockets, they've been solid in 6A for a long time.
I like Mountain Brook. I think people should really watch out for them.
Yep.
Moving on to 7A, Daphne at Auburn, Central Phoenix City is at Theodore, Hewitt is at Thompson, and Hoover at Oak Mountain. Obviously, a couple of those Birmingham games are certainly going to decide some things, I would think.
No doubt about it, but I'll start with Phoenix City and Theodore first. Phoenix City, they've had their knocks this year. They lost to Eufaula earlier. They've lost some games. They're 7-4, but they're extremely talented. They'll take on a 10-1 Theodore team that they're just solid. From the Mobile area, and they're a team that has a history of being able to make deep runs in the playoffs. Daphne at Auburn is going to be another good one, but you're right. I think ultimately in 7A, it's going to run through this region. Hewitt at Thompson, and Hewitt's a tremendous football team. They went up and knocked James Clemens off, and it was a blowout at halftime. Same for Hoover. They were winning big at half as well. So Thompson and Hewitt, I think you're going to see in this game how much further ahead Thompson is than everybody, because
I
Hewitt
agree.
is such a good football team.
I agree.
But I think Thompson
And
ends
look at
up-
what happened the first time.
That's right, and I think they beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns again.
Yeah, I would agree. I said that the first time I saw them. I said Thompson is going to win the state championship, and if they played 100 times against Hewitt, they would win probably 97 of them.
I think
They're
maybe 98. or
Yeah,
99.
they're that good. I do want to head back to Class A for our Central Alabama Voice game of the week. Andalusia is at Clay Central. Obviously, Clay Central, the 2-time defending state championship, and Andalusia has played in back-to-back for a state championship and making the move up to 5A. I'm excited for this one.
I don't know that it gets much better. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the way these 2 programs have performed the last couple of years, and as you said, Andalusia is new to 5A, but I don't think they're going to shy away from the opportunity. It's a long trip for them to travel from their place to Central Clay, but I think they'll be up to it. But, Danny Horn is Danny Horn, and he knows how to win, and he knows how to defend his home turf. This may be probably, if I had to go out on a limb, could possibly be the best game of the whole weekend in high school football.
Yes, we are hoping so. So make sure to follow us for live updates on that. And if you don't have plans to get to a game, go to a game, because as Brett said, COVID's gotten a little scary here the last couple of days. So make sure you're taking your precautions so these kids can get the playoffs that they deserve. So, all right. Well, thank y'all for joining us, and we will see you next week.